I love coffee, just plain black coffee. There's something about it. The warmth of it in my hands, the aroma, it just makes me happy. For the longest time, I've gotten my coffee every morning at a little gas station right down the street from my house. The only problem is, like a lot of places, they have a ploy in place to try and get me hooked on unhealthy, fattening foods that are going to pack pounds to my body. Let me explain. So every month they have a different promotion. One month they might be promoting free breakfast bars or protein bars with your cup of coffee. And I'm not talking healthy protein bars. I'm talking protein bars that are no better than a candy bar. And speaking of candy bars, some months the promotion is a free chocolate bar with your large coffee. But the one that always got me, both before I had weight loss surgery and in the many years that I struggled with regain after weight loss surgery, was the free donuts. You know the ones, the little 6-pack with a mini donut. Sometimes it's powdered sugar, sometimes they're the ones covered in chocolate, or my favorite, the cinnamon crumble. Those would always get me. What, you want to give me free donuts with my coffee? Twist my arm. And then there'd be times that I would be doing pretty good on my eating and health regime. And so, but I'd still be faced with these free donuts or free whatever. And I'd think, oh, well, I can't give up something that's free. I mean, as humans, it's like we're attracted to free things like a magnet, even if it's something totally stupid. So I'd be like, oh, I'll just get them and give them to someone. Because that really tied well to my screwed up thinking that I probably established as a kid, that food equals love or food equals comfort. So instead of realizing that I'm giving someone something that's toxic, I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing something nice for them. But no, but it didn't really matter, because most of the time that I convinced myself that I was going to give it to someone, it went straight in my mouth and to my own hips anyway. Do you ever wonder why the stores give away these freebies? Well, it's all a ploy to get you hooked. In fact, in a lot of marketing circles, they refer to this as the drug dealer model. I'll give them a little bit of this for free, get them hooked, and then they'll keep coming back to buy more and more and more. They hook you in two ways. The most obvious is through the sugar. You get a bite of that and it just makes you feel good and you want more, at least until 10 to 20 minutes later when you feel really sick after wolfing down too much. Well, the way this works is that a lot of the foods that you find given away as freebies, like the power bars, the chocolate bars, and the donuts that I mentioned, they all fall into a category called hyperpalatable foods. And if you haven't heard of hyperpalatable foods before, basically what that is food that has been engineered with a combination of fat, sugar, carbs, and sodium in a way that is designed to hook you. It actually triggers your brain to ignore fullness signals, and it makes you crave more and more of this stuff. You know, there was a university study done several years ago, and I do want to point out the results were controversial, but what the study concluded was that a very popular brand of packaged cookies that you can get in just about any grocery store was found to be more addictive than heroin or cocaine. I mean, think about that for a second. A cookie, possibly more addictive than heroin or cocaine. So that, my friends, is the power of hyperpalatable foods. They are engineered to addict you. The second way these promos hook you is by creating a new habit. I mean, think about it. If for an entire month you're getting free donuts with your coffee, you get into the habit of getting donuts every morning. And you know, you're really not thinking about it, especially in the morning, because you're probably on your way to work or dropping your kids off at school and you've got a million things on your mind of all the things you got to do in a day. And so here they are, this freebie promo, they're programming you, donuts, coffee, donuts, coffee, donuts, coffee. And so with all these things on your mind and you're swiping your debit card, not even looking at the total, right? all of a sudden you are programmed into the habit of getting those donuts or the power bar or the breakfast bar every day with your coffee. Sneaky, huh? So the first tactic you can use to combat this is to make little rules or guidelines for yourself. And this is one that I actually adopted early on, and it changed my life. It helped me stay on the path to right-sized living, and that is to never, ever, ever take free food samples no matter what the situation. Now, I'm all for indulging every now and then, but I only do planned indulgences. If it's like a little freebie sample, I am not going to take it. Even if the freebie sample might be something that is healthy, I am just in the habit of I never take freebie food samples. And, you know, ones like the ones at the gas station, my 6-pack of donuts, I mean, that's kind of obvious, but a lot of times we get suckered into thinking, oh, well, it's just a bite-sized sample. That can't hurt. Everything in moderation is okay. No, it's not, because guess what? All those little bite-sized samples stack up, and you would be alarmed to realize how many free food samples you encounter a week. I mean, a lot of times you can encounter up to 10 in a day. I mean, think about it, the grocery stores, at the big box stores, at restaurants, you go to a little coffee shop to get your coffee, there's free samples there. I mean, they're everywhere. It may even be, oh my gosh, like this one's crazy. I go and I pick up my prescriptions at the pharmacy, and they have a jar of those little bite-sized candy bars by the register. I mean, is that insane? I mean, some people are there probably picking up medication for type 2 diabetes, and there they are with free chocolate samples as they're getting their diabetes medication. It's crazy, but the store's doing that because guess what? They happen to sell those little bars. They sell them in full size, and they sell the big bags full of the little bite-sized candy bars. So they're trying to hook you too. But the point is, these little bite-sized samples, they add up. I'm telling you, you encounter a ton of them every day, but let's say worst case, you only encountered 10 a week. Well, 50 calories a pop times 10 a week, that's 500 calories a week. And if you're doing that every week, how's that gonna add up in a year, 2 years, 3 years? I mean, you are not going to stay right size if you get suckered into that. Another tactic you might find helpful is to gamify it. I kind of make it like a little battle between me and the big bad marketing gurus. It's like I get a point every time I pass up one of their little promos trying to shove free bad fattening food down my throat. Here's a point for me here. You might do it on a daily basis or a weekly basis or whatever, but turn it into a game. You'd be surprised at how much that easier it makes it to pass these things up. If making a rule for yourself or gamifying just doesn't quite do enough to help you steer clear of temptation, you can do something a little bit more extreme, which is to stop going to the places that tempt you with the freebies or the free samples, period. And I get a lot of pushback on this because one of the places notorious for free samples is, well, it's the big box places that have all the free samples, and people tell me, oh, but I need to go there because I have to save money. Listen, if you can't go there and walk by the temptations of free samples, then I would argue that saving a few bucks is not worth compromising your health. So it's something to think about. It's not that hard to start avoiding the places that are throwing these temptations in your way. You know, you have worked very hard in your journey to right-sized living. Don't let these little things trip you up. Now that you're aware, you've got a couple tactics that will help you avoid them, the rules, the gamification, or just going elsewhere. So until next time, live with purpose, live with courage, and live with delight.